Hello ladies and gentle dudes, this is Casey back with another beginner's guide for League of Legends. Today's episode I will be bringing you some quick tips on just getting started with the game. I'm not going to be going over tactics or anything. That will be done in a later video. For right now I'll just go over the HUD. I have my HUD a little smaller, so let me actually bump that up so that you can actually see everything that's going on. Alright, so at the top left here you have your player, your champion portrait, which you also have at the bottom left with the level on both sides. You have your health bar and your mana bar. If your champion does not use mana, it will be whatever other color. Mana is blue. Some champs don't have mana at all, but it also has, I think, a number. I'm not sure if that's default or if you have to check it somewhere in the options. I'm not 100% sure. However, the numbers are there, at least on my screen, to help out. At the top right, you have your time, the time the game has been going on for, the time that you've been connected to the game, because if you do get disconnected and you reconnect, that time limit right there, that time will be reset when you reconnect. You have your kills, your deaths, and your assists. When you kill an enemy champion, you will go up in kills. Same with deaths. If you die, that will go up. And assist is basically when you assist in a kill. In a kill that your teammate gets, your assists go up. You have your FPS, how many frames per second you're getting. The higher the better, unless like you do what I had, which is I capped it out at 30 FPS. If you're new to PC gaming with League of Legends, you might want to Google and look up what FPS is and how it affects your game and such. And then your bar right here is the latency bar. And for me, because I live so close to the Riot servers, it's between 20 and 30 for me. For East Coast guys, it's usually between 80 and 90. The bar will actually fill up these 4 bars when it's getting to the point that it's barely possible to even play. And if you scan over, it'll actually say what your latency is in milliseconds. This little box right here, you have your team's kills and the enemy team's kills, all added up. At the bottom right, you have your minimap. On the minimap, you have the green dots, which is a friendly minion or non-player object. You have your turrets, which are these little blue tower things. You have your minion camps throughout the jungle, which are the skulls and crossbones. And then you have your inhibitors, which are like the little tiny circle things on each side. And you have your nexus, which is the center of attention. I'm going to do this guide based on the assumption that you've gone through the basic tutorial. At the bottom here, you have your, let's start on this side, I guess. You have, like I said, your champion's portrait. You have all the stats from attack damage, ability power, attack speed, movement speed, armor, and magic resistance. And each one, when you scan over it, will say what it does and where it gets the number from, etc. These 6 little boxes right here are from your items. Those are the items that you're currently carrying. This right here has, again, your health bar and mana bar. Every champion has a passive ability. For Tristana, which is a freely obtainable champion that you get from connecting your Facebook account to League of Legends, she has, if you scan over it, it says Tristana's attack range is increased by a certain amount, and that's based on your current level. Every champion has a different passive ability, so make sure when you're playing a new champion to check that out. And then you have your 4 skills, your 4 main abilities, which are by default bound to Q, W, E, and R, so you just lay your fingers across those. And then up on top, every time you level up, your champion levels up, which it goes up to level 18, 1 through 18, and you level up by killing minions, taking out turrets, etc. you get another skill point to put into one of the skills. And then you have the summoner skills, which can't be leveled up, but you select those at the champion select screen. You can see what they are again in the summoner profile under the skills tab. And then you have your recall. By the way, the summoner skills are default bound to D and F. And then your recall button, which you should have learned about in the tutorial, is bound to B. So you just can push B and you'll go right back to your main base. And then down here you have your champion info, or I think that's bound to C. Yes. It shows your current hit points. It shows all the stats. They have the lore and tips for each champion. I'm not sure why. I don't think anybody would actually read that in game. But if you're interested, you can always do that. Ignore that random thing. I accidentally clicked Mr. Pig.
Let's get in range.
Down here you have your option screen. So that, or you can hit escape, and that'll open it up. You have your scoreboard overlay, or you can hold tab. And then you have your camera setting. Now, right now my camera is unlocked. However, you click that and it'll actually lock onto your champion. Or by hotkey default, you can push the Y button, or you can hold the space bar. I think that's about it for the HUD. Next up, we're going to talk about the lanes. So scrolling up here to the top lane, this is the lane that's called top, obviously, and then you have middle lane and bottom lane, also known as bot. Generally at lower levels, the basic lane style is 2 people go on top, 2 people go, or 1 person goes into the mid, and 2 people go bot. This setup is just the basic default to do. However, there are different variations when they're junglers, etc., which I'll go over in a different video. Excuse all my stuttering and slurring. So that's about it for what the lanes are. Now onto the lingo. The lingo is very, very important in League of Legends. New players, I promise, if you've not been playing long, this may confuse you. If you've been seeing different things in the chat box at the bottom left, I'm actually going to turn my interface scale back down. Now, the first big one, or the first one that you're probably going to hear is MIA, which is missing in action. This basically means a champion who is, if you are laning against an enemy champion, if you're in the same lane, I should say, against an enemy champion, and they just disappear from your screen. I have my buddy Grazer here helping me out to show some of the fog of war and showing the missing in action. Graze, walk on out, just to show, because you're in the fog of war right now. Alright, so he's gonna run around, just start killing some of the minions and such. He's going to just be, this is how laning phase generally looks. You'll be fighting against each other, fighting against the minions mainly, and throwing a couple attacks at each other. But as soon as he'll disappear into the fog of war, go like you're going top, Grace. Well, I can't see you right now, but... Alright, so say you see an enemy champion going up that way if he disappears, or if you just see him completely disappear from the screen, you would type, for example, that enemy champion MIA, or if you don't know the champion name, which I know if you're new to the game you probably won't, you can just type mid MIA, because if you are mid. If you're top, you can type top MIA or bot MIA. This allows for your teammates to know that you don't know where this enemy champion is, and they could be anywhere. Next up is B. Now, when someone says B, it doesn't mean push your B button and recall. It means back. It means get back, stay back, because you could be in danger of being killed. This brings me to the next one, which is ganking. Now, ganking is when an enemy champion... if you're pushed up in a lane and an enemy champion comes down to you, come back down, Grace, like you're coming to gank me. We're gonna wait for him to show up here. I've leveled up a couple times. I haven't put skills in, and I'm just kind of throwing them out there. I'm not really doing anything. So if I see a champion do this, my team will probably be screaming B, B, B. Oh, okay. You can stun me too, bro, and attack me. Yeah, that's cool. So
you said make it look like I was ganking you. That's what I would do.
So that is what a gank would be. A lot of times it's used for 2 or 3. Sometimes all 5 of the enemy team will come at you, and that is called a gank. Now, another big thing which confuses a lot of new players is laning phase. Laning phase is basically this: going back and forth, pushing the minions back and forth, going at the turrets, trying to get the turrets down. And laning phase is ended when the first turret is down, which is usually when the lane's turret that went down, their current laning team, the team of 2 at top, the team of 1 in mid, or the team of 2 at bot, push through their turret. Laning phase is over. If the turret gets destroyed, they usually come up and try to start ganking either mid or top, or if it's top, you know, they go elsewhere. It's also known as roaming, and I'm not sure if there's any other lingo that I'm really missing out on. Alright, so a couple of other lingo that other types of lingo that you might be hearing, or other words or phrases that you might be hearing, is CC, which, in case you're not familiar with other games, CC stands for crowd control. The types of CC include stuns, snares, slows, knockups, displacements, silences, blinds. But if you're confused about the difference between each of the different types of CC, I'll be going over that in my next video. Next up, I want to, real quick, bring it back to the start here. So we're going to go ahead and recall by pushing B. So give me 1 second. We're going to recall as he's pushing up on the turret. A big thing when you first spawn into a game, now this is like done improperly by a lot of people, and they forget it and stuff. It's your starting items. Now, when you first spawn into a game, you start out with, I think, 475 gold. Graze, you start out with 475 gold, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you start out with 475 gold, and that can buy you, you know, a Doran's Blade. It can buy you different items. Generally, you're going to want to buy the first recommended item, which usually costs anywhere between 350 and 475, depending on the champion you're playing, and some health potions and mana potions because they're cheap. And if you have spare, sight wards. Now, all of this I'm also going to go over in a separate in the next video. However, I am running out of time, so I believe I've covered everything in the very, very basics of gameplay. If I've missed anything, please leave a comment, and I'll make sure to go over it in my next video. Until next time, guys. Peace. Say bye, Grazer.
Bye, Grazer.